Hey everyone, John Matthew here from Worship With Us. Ahead of my next Asaph Instrumentals release on Friday, I wanted to introduce you to my very first collaborative partner who will be making music with me to release on Friday for you to listen to. I'm really excited that my first collaborative partner for Asaph Instrumentals is John Goodwin, my dad and the founder of Worship With Us Ministries. And I'm wondering if you'd first just tell us a little bit about Worship With Us. What is it? What do you do?
Yeah, okay. We're really a missionary organization. More than 20 years ago now, we started doing ministry in Eastern Europe, and after just a few years needed to really have an organization and a registered charity to continue and to expand the work that we were doing. So we're a missionary organization led by primarily worship leaders, the people who love the Lord, love the gospel, love the Word of God, and want to create an opportunity for people to have an encounter with God on the basis that whatever a person's need is in life, from salvation through to healing, through to I just don't know where my life is going, the answer to it is to meet with God, have an encounter with God, and for God to intervene in that timeline and change people's situation, change people's destiny, change their future. And it all comes through some kind of an encounter with God. So we say creating opportunities for an encounter with God. And if we can have the privilege of facilitating that for God and with God, then that's what we want to be doing.
Awesome.
That's what we're about.
That's so good. You can find out more at www.worshipwithus.ca. We'd love to connect with you there. Find us on social, facebook.com/worshipwithusministries. And we'll see you there as well. Now, Asaph Instrumentals is an extension of Worship With Us Ministries, and we're all about worship. We're all about encountering the presence of God.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be fitting, as you're the first collaborative partner on this endeavor, that you might share with us an insight that you had about worship and unity and the presence of God, something that you called John's taxonomy of worship. And so maybe first, what is a taxonomy, and then what is your taxonomy of worship all about?
I usually kind of say it with my tongue stuck in my cheek. A number of years ago, quite a number of years ago now, I was studying adult education, and there's a taxonomy of adult learning. I think it's Bloom's taxonomy of adult learning. And one morning, very early in the morning, I drank a lot too much coffee, way too much coffee. And I was driving through kind of empty streets, and I had this idea that came to me about the relationship between the presence of God, which is what we're always seeking when we worship Him, and unity among the people and the number of people, and the difference between one or two people worshiping in their home and congregational worship. And so I express these things as formulas, which I don't have to kind of just reel off from memory right now. But basically, you know, there are biblical principles that talk about how God is pleased when brethren dwell together in unity, Psalm 133, and that there the Lord commands a blessing. And also that when we worship God, we come into His presence, but He comes into ours. It says in Psalm 22 that God inhabits or sits enthroned on the praises of His people. And so the relationship is a function of the number of people that you have worshipping, or the presence of God, if you like, and the amount of revealed glory, like it says in Chronicles, 2 Chronicles chapter 5, where the temple is being dedicated, and the trumpeters play and the people sing, the worship team, in other words, this amazing temple worship team starts to minister and worship, and God's presence comes in such a strong way that the people can't even carry on their duties. The priests are just kind of bowled over. I imagine them flat on their faces because the presence of the glory of God comes as they worship Him. And so, so getting back to the question, the taxonomy, which is this kind of set of principles, says that the amount of that revealed glory can be relative to the number of people who are there, the diversity. In other words, are we worshipping Him from different tribes and different tongues and different places of the world? I could go on about that, about how God really loves that, you know, but the offering of the nations comes in as worship to him. And so the amount of diversity and then the amount of unity that there is, so the number of people and the amount of diversity and the amount of unity that there is among the people who are worshipping will have a direct correlation to the amount of our experience, I believe, of the presence of God. It's not an exclusive set of guidelines or principles by any means. God is not limited to our own little kind of equations, but it is a way of expressing what I think are biblical principles to do with the experience of the presence of God as we worship him.
And so it's good to be together with the body.
Yes, that's
it's good
right.
to be together, the people of God, worshiping
yes,
and giving him everything
we
we've
love
got.
to do that.
Yeah.
We love to do that.
It's my hope that as you listen to Asaph Instrumentals that you will experience the presence of God. And so we're excited to work together on this next musical release, and we trust that you will find peace and that you will be blessed as you rest in him.